Hello, I'm with Seed System Solution, and in this video, I'm going to guide you through the process of creating customer AR transaction items, such as a payment, a check, a credit memo, and a debit memo, and how to apply those items. There's a few ways you can do them, and to start, you can open up your Add menu, and you could select those transaction types. If you're not seeing the menu options I referenced in this video, please contact your admin user within your organization for assistance on getting these set up. So from here, you're going to select either your payment, your credit memo, your debit memo, or your check. The other option is going to be to go through the customer tab itself. And you would click on your customer ID number, make sure your year is toggled to the correct year, and then open your Invoice and Pay tab and click the plus button. From here, again, you're going to have those same options, your payment, your credit memo, debit memo, check. I would like you to note that invoice and return are not options here. Invoices are created when your pick ticket is delivered. So you start with a booking line, you add that booking line to your delivery or pick ticket, and then you print your delivery ticket, and that's going to generate your invoice. And your returns are created through the line items tab and opening up your return transfer. So again, from our invoice tab here, we're going to click plus, and we have our payment, credit memo, debit memo, or check. So to create a new payment, I would select payment. If we started from our add menu, we are going to see an option on the screen to select our customer by using the search magnifying glass. Because we didn't select that or because we are going through the customer page, it has already filled in our customer information. And now we need to just fill in a few pieces of information. If this is linked back to one individual grower, you can assign the grower using this grower magnifying glass. Otherwise, the information that we're going to need is the check number or payment number, if there is one that's applicable. What date that payment should be processed in the system as of. Our payment type. So whether this is a check, cash, wire transfer, ACH, this is required because our payment type drives what needs to be deposited. And then our check amount. So how much are they paying you for? If this is a JDF payment, you're going to enter in that full available amount that they're getting from the customer. The finance fees or the credit card fees will handle later. So this isn't the amount that's actually deposited. This is the available credit that's going to be on the customer account. So once we've entered that, it's going to give us our available amount. This might be all that you're entering early on in the season. If this is a finance program or a JDF payment, you can go into the finance program and fill in a bit more information about this payment for your own tracking records. If this is also a GDF or some sort of finance payment where there is a fee, and so the check that you are depositing isn't the same amount that is being set to the customer account, you would enter that fee in this finance fee field. And then when you create a deposit, it's going to subtract whatever your finance fee is from this available amount. So again, this is how we give the customer the full amount, but we subtract the amount of the finance fee. Our accounts are going to default based on what accounts we have set up in our system settings. So our bank charge account would be what our finance fee account is. Our available account is going to be where this payment is held until it is applied. Our undeposited fund would be our funds account that it's going into before it's deposited. And if we need to assign a department, we can fill in that department. We can also add some notes, internal or notes that would print on a printout that we give our customer. We also might need to calculate an estimated early pay discount on this. And to do that, we need to fill in the section under estimated EP discount. And so our year is going to be what the year of that transaction is. Our price type, and both of these should fill in by default, is going to be the price type of the customer, but that can be overridden on the payment. And then we need to assign the booking type. And if this is falling into a period that is not the same as the date of the payment, we would enter this into the override EP date. So for example, if we wanted to provide the payment period of January 31st for this February payment, we would override our date into January 31st, and it's going to change what our estimation is. If this payment is going to be for 2 different cash discount periods, so say they are paying a booking that receives no cash discount and a booking that is receiving cash discount, and you want to use the estimated EP discount calculation fields, and for it to be correct, you will need to split this payment into 2 separate payments. So you would enter it twice, both with the same check number. You can do -1, -2 for your knowledge that you entered into payment. But you would fill in then the first check amount to be what your discount or your booking was with no discounts. You would enter in that check amount, select your booking type that is receiving no discount, and then you would enter in your second payment with entering your booking type that does receive a discount. And this is for on your statement then. If you select show early payment discount, it would show and calculate the correct early pay discount for those bookings. Again, though, early pay discount is an estimation until it's actually applied, because what it is applied to matters, and they might not receive the whole discount that they might be eligible for based on what type of bookings that they have. When it comes to applying your payment, you would go back into your payment by selecting your payment number. I didn't mention to save that payment. All we did was click the logo and that payment saved. So to apply that payment, and this is going to be the same process to apply credit memo, is we open that payment and then we select what to apply it for. Now, in my particular example right here, I have multiple years to apply it to. I do not recommend cross-applying your payments in multiple years, as it will mess up your by-year totals. So we do recommend, if at all possible, having the year that you are applying that payment in match the year of that transaction. So I selected this show only matching year, and now that narrowed down my results to only show our matching booking season. And we can do this on both the invoice tab and the booking tab. So we have 2 tabs. If we select the by invoice, it's just going to apply that payment to that particular invoice and any booking lines that are on that invoice, starting with the first one. If we choose the by booking tab, we're going to have a few more nuanced options. So it's going to show all of the individual booking totals that make up that invoice. So an example here would be on this invoice 1228. We shipped both booking 100469, 100472. So we get us decide which part of the invoice we wanted to apply this payment for. This is more of a necessity if you are applying just to specific growers on a booking, or if you have different bookings with different booking types, all shipped on one individual invoice. You can decide how you want to apply out those payments. We can also override our percentage that is calculated by clicking in the override percentage box, and we can change that percentage that has been applied. And when we press tab, it would then recalculate our early payment discount and our payment that was received. And that can be done on the invoice tab as well by clicking on the EP amount field, and then you're going to see the override data fields here. There are some options to print this, create a PDF, email, or just create a brand new payment from here. Our next transaction type that we're going to create is a credit memo. The credit memo and the debit memo work in the exact same way, except one is going to give a credit on the account and one is going to give a debit on the account. So again, since we created this from the customer detail page, our customer is filled out, but we can override that or change that. Or if we use from our add menu, we would select it, by clicking on this customer magnifying glass and selecting our customer from the picker. The same thing on a payment with our grower. We can assign a grower for this to be linked to. We can enter our date. Our default account is going to be our accounts receivable account, but we can adjust that if necessary. And then our department is going to pull based on our customer, as well as our year is based on our default year. We can assign terms to this credit memo if we want to, as well as similar to on our payment, we can fill out our estimated EP discount in order to calculate what our estimation of our EP discount would be for this credit memo. A credit memo does work similar in a payment, whereas if this date falls into an estimated early payment period, it would calculate an early payment discount when applied, just like a payment would. We then have two options for choosing what account or what line item to put on a credit memo. So from our accounts tab, we can press our plus and we can search from an account in our general ledger. So any of our sales accounts, our expense accounts, we can select just by searching and selecting which account it's going to go to. We would then enter our amount, and on our credit memo and our debit memo, it's going to work the same way. We enter it as a positive amount. So what amount we are giving them a credit for or debiting. On a debit memo, do not press a negative in front. That would then essentially give them a credit. We can assign if this is for a specific department, as well as enter a memo line. And then we can save that information. If you don't want to assign it straight to a specific account, but wanted to link it to a product, you can do that through through the lines tab. So if we select lines and click the plus, just like on a booking or a purchase order, we're going to search for our product that we need to find. And we are going to then assign it to our booking line. Again, these should be non-inventory items. If you are assigning an inventory item here, it will not affect inventory. So if you put an inventory item on a credit memo or a debit memo, it will not take that inventory out of or put it back into inventory. So it would just affect the sales accounts and not the inventory. So we can add notes and then we can save that line. If you are leaving the credit memo to apply later on, or this is a debit memo, you could save that by just pressing the logo and this transaction is saved and in the system. For credit memo, there's one extra step. When it comes time to apply, you can apply this by opening up the hamburger menu and selecting apply menu. And then the screen is going to look very similar to a payment where you're going to select what transaction that you would like to apply this memo against. So we can just select the amount or the transaction, and it's going to apply your available amount against the available balance due on that transaction. Similar to a payment, if an EP discount was calculated, you can override that as well. So we leave that by pressing the logo. And the last item that we need to do here is a check. So a check is going to refund a credit on the account. So if they're no longer going to have it available to apply, we're going to refund it through the check. If you are starting a check through your add menu, you will need to select the customer, just like we previously had talked about. If you are selecting it through the customer, it has already assigned the customer and is looking for any transactions that are open on the account. So once it has loaded your totals, we can then assign what transaction that we want to give a refund check back for. So we would select the transaction that we're giving the refund for. And by default, it is going to give a refund for the entire open transaction balance. But that amount can be overridden. So once it has applied, it is going to fill in your check total, and as well as it's going to show this amount field here. And we can override that amount by clicking on the amount and changing how much we want to apply and pressing tab to exit. And then that is going to override our check. So once we have assigned everything we're going to refund to that customer, we would select the hamburger menu, and then we can choose to either print this check, or we can choose to assign the check number and mark it as printed. So if we are doing it in another system, we can assign the check number, what the check number is, or if it's ACH, and press OK. And then once we've done that, it's going to assign the check number up here. Once a check number has been assigned, you can override it or change it by clicking in the check number fields and adjusting it. But that can't be done until the initial check number has been assigned. If you don't print it right away, you can leave it in your batch check printing. And we do have a video about batch check printing. If you are printing statements based on booking type, you can also assign a booking type to this check in order to have this check pull onto a statement run for specific booking types. So then we can leave this check here. And that covers all of the transactions. Like I said, a debit memo works the same way as a credit memo. You just don't have the option to apply it out. If you have any other questions about Seed System Solution, you can reference our other training videos. You can email us at grow@seedsystem.co, or you can register for our monthly Seed System Support Zoom meeting.